everybody, it's Stephen here for the Idiot Quilter, and welcome to my weekly episode for August the 16th, 2022, episode 180. And I hope you've had a creative week in the past. I certainly have, and I'm going to talk a little bit about it. You can see one of my projects just peeking up over my shoulder this way, or this way. But in fact, let's jump right in and talk a little bit about this. So I have been working on my Halloween quilt, and last week I showed you some of the pieces of it. Well, I have the whole top now completed, and there it is, and I think it's really quite cute. Now, my plan is later today I need to piece some fabric together to create the backing, because you know that I prefer wide back backings on quilts. But in this case, I don't really have and can't really get readily any wide back Halloween fabric. So I have lots of Halloween fabric that I've purchased. So I think I'll take some of that and piece it together. I'm not really sure. I don't want to go into a very elaborate back. Like sometimes you end up making another quilt as your backing. You can do that. So I suppose it would be reversible. But I'm kind of done with Halloween quilting right now. There's another project on the horizon, which I'll talk about in a little bit, that I want to get to. So I want to do something that's, you know, nice, but quick. And then I can throw it up on Lucy and get it quilted. And I do have an idea for quilting it. I'm going to see if I can find a edge-to-edge design that features something Halloweenish, like either bats or witches or something like that, or cats maybe. I'll see what's out there. And then for color, I'm thinking of using something, you know, like a purple, a dark purple in the quilting. Now, there isn't really much purple in this quilt. Some of the little white pieces that have Halloween gnomes on them do have some purple in their outfits. So I might go with that. I'll see. I probably won't get it quilted this week, and you'll find out why in a few moments. But in the meantime, what I'd like to do, and just let me go to the next picture. Nope, that's not the one I want. I want to show you a little tiny video just for fun that I made showing me putting this quilt or laying this quilt out on my design board. So I'm going to put that in here right now. So I hoped you enjoyed the little comic element that I had inserted into that little video. I was just having fun. And I'll be honest, it was the first time I'd ever used really fast motion on this system that I'm using now for creating my videos. So I thought I'd have a little fun with it and try it out. Okay, that takes me to what's happened in the last week. And we had a pop-up sew day this past Saturday. And thank you to all of you who came out and kept me company for the day. I had a really good time. I learned stuff, and we had great discussion, and everybody showed off what they were working on. And yeah, it was just It's just really, really fun. So if you missed it, when's the next one? I don't know. Because that's why I call them pop-up sew days. Um, I only have it figured out about 24 hours before I do one. So if you're interested in being part of the next one, there's two things you can do. One, you can just wait and see when I make the announcement for the next one. It will be 24 hours usually. Sometimes it's earlier than that. 24 hours anyways before I actually do it, and they're always on a Saturday. And that announcement will come up here on the channel with the Zoom link for it. Or what you can do is, if you don't want to fool around with looking for the announcement on YouTube, is if you're not already on it, you can send me your contact information, which just essentially is send me an email. So I have your email address and I will add you to my mailing list. And that way you'll get an email invitation for the pop-up sew day. And that also works with my two other mailing lists as well. My Craft and Chat, which happens the first Wednesday of every month. And of course, my semi-annual, is it semi-annual, biannual, semi-annual? I think it's semi-annual retreat, because I have two of them in a year, spring and the fall. So the fall retreat, just to let you know, is in October this year, October 22nd. That's a Saturday. There'll be many more details about all of this and how you register for it coming out in about mid-September. And for those of you that are already on the retreat mailing list, you will get all that information sent to your email box. I will also be discussing it as a YouTube video. And if, again, you want to be on that mailing list, just send me a note. My email address is in the show notes below, and you're in. Okay, so what else? Well, actually, on the pop-up sew day, it was kind of celebrity day. I had Stephanie Stitches was on, and she has just recently, I interviewed her, as you probably know, last week. And if you haven't checked out that video, do check it out. Stephanie is just a delight to interview, and she's just a delight, period. And I also, Adam Sews dropped in. Actually was there for most of the retreat, and he kind of did an impromptu little show and tell of his bags and things and his love of Tula Pink, and that was really great too. So counting myself, and I do count myself, there were 3 celebrities on the pop-up sew day. So, you never know who's going to show up. And I was really thankful. I know Stephanie and Adam both are very, very busy people, and I felt very honored that both of them decide to use some of their precious time to be part of our group. Okay, so speaking of Stephanie Stitches, say that fast 5 times. While I was interviewing Stephanie last week, she had a gorgeous quilt sitting behind her. And I had seen that quilt before because she had sent me some pictures of it, which I also featured in, I believe, last week's Idiot Quilter episode. And I asked her about that pattern, and it turned out to be one of her own creation. So I immediately went to her Etsy store, and I picked it up because this is the quilt that I have decided is worthy of some of those fat quarters that Walter bought me at Christmas. I've had this big box of 80 fat quarters, a complete line called Poured Color. Absolutely love these fabrics, and I wanted to find a quilt pattern that was worthy of them, and I did. Stephanie's Mosaic Stars is the one I'm going to work on next, and that's my next project. So you can see I've already picked out my fat quarters for this. My background fabric is there. That's the white that has a kind of a subtle leaf pattern to it. And I'm going to be bold. The border fabric I'm using is that black and white swirly kind of design sitting there underneath the fat quarters. I think this is going to be a spectacular quilt when it's done, and I am so looking forward to working on this pattern. So that's projects, and I have a new tool I want to share with you as well, and I just need to find the link for that, so just give me a second. So I bought a new gizmo that I happened to see on one of Lynn Reinhardt's little short videos from her Cotton Arts Studio YouTube channel. She didn't tell me what it was called. She just said it was really handy and it was great for oiling her sewing machine. So I went on Amazon and I found it, and here it is. It's called the Titan 15200 Precision Oiler. And what this little gizmo does is you fill it with oil. This top part screws off, and you just take it and does what it says. It will deliver one drop, precisely one drop of oil from the tip when you push down on the, well, that's not a good way to advertise it. I'm disgusted. I didn't see that before. They're showing using it to oil a gun. No, that is so wrong. That's upsetting. That's not what I got it for. Okay? And I don't own a gun. And I'm against them completely. Anyways, I digress. I got this when I oil my sewing machine. You know that usually under your bobbin case, there's a little tiny wick, a little hole, and you deliver one drop of oil to that hole. Well, if you're a klutz like me, the oiling bottle that I use has a long plastic spout kind of a thing, and that will help you to get the oil into your sewing machine. But as your oil gets less and less in the bottle, you're kind of having to squeeze it more to get the air out and get some oil to come out. And in my case, I get more than one drop when that happens. So this little thing I thought would solve my problem, and it does, and it is great. For what it is, it's not really cheap, but it's not that expensive. This is Amazon.ca. $21.84 is what it cost, and I think with tax it came out to just under $25. I showed it to Walter after I got it, and he was so impressed with it, he ordered one for himself as well. So, you know, high praise if Walter is endorsing this product. So yeah, that's a new little gizmo, and I think it's a really good thing to have in your gadget box for, you know, maintaining your sewing machine. Okay, so speaking of gizmos, I have prepared for this week, and I just put it up this morning, a short 15-minute video comparing 3 rotary blade sharpeners that I own. Now, rotary blade sharpeners and rotary blades. Well, first of all, rotary blades are expensive. And, you know, you've got to change them on a regular basis. You really do. As soon as you're not cutting all the way through your fabric, it's time to change that blade. But, you know, we don't want to spend the money on them, so we will use that blade until it won't cut hot butter. And that's not a good thing to do. So there are things on the market for sharpening your rotary blades so you can get a little bit more life out of them. Well, I own 3. So I thought I would do a little video that compares the 3 of them together and gives you my opinion about rotary blade cutter sharpeners. So here's a little teaser to that video. But we'll start off with the very first one that I bought, which is this one. This is called True Cut, and I believe it's manufactured or provided or distributed by the Grace Company, which are famous for their Grace frame for quilting and things like that. And I've had 2 of these. The first one came to me was damaged. At least I thought it was damaged when I got it. So I wrote to the company, told them I was having a problem, and they responded very quickly and sent me a brand new one. But it turned out that it wasn't really damaged, it just didn't. So I guess buyer beware. All right, so that takes me to Subscribers Quilt of the Week. This comes from a long-time subscriber to my channel, Colleen Pigeon. And she has sent us some of her beautiful pictures of her beautiful creations before, and here's some more for us to enjoy. This week's quilts from a subscriber come from Colleen Pigeon who we have seen some of her lovely creations in the past, and here are some more. And she writes, attached are the finished versions of my Oh My Stars quilts, Pat Sloan's pattern that is free on her website. This pattern finishes to about 40 inches by 50 inches. I also made coordinating teddy quilts that finish to about 12-inch square. All 4 pieces were quilted by my long armor, Liz Dempsey, with the same lush, cuddly flannel backing. So yeah, let's take a little closer look at these. This is a great way to use up what you may have left over of a certain fabric as well. And right here, we have those 2 quilts that Colleen has already mentioned, and they're really colorful. They really stand out. I love the stars. It's a simple pattern, but it's an effective pattern, and the quilting on it looks wonderful. It really sets it off. So Colleen, these are beautiful creations, and thank you so much for sharing them with us. And that takes me to the YouTube of the week, and this one is interesting. This lady, she calls herself the Opinionated Quilter, and she definitely is opinionated. In fact, to the point where you feel like you're being lectured to. However, she has excellent information, especially if you're a little mathematically challenged when it comes to figuring out block sizes and things for a quilt. She has, and that's what turned me on to her YouTube channel, was she does a lecture on how to do the math. And she's got things, and I say lecture because it is a lecture. She's got a whiteboard and a pointer in this. She's a little bit quirky, but really knows her stuff. So here's my review of her channel. This week's YouTube of the week is called The Opinionated Quilter, and she is exactly that. This is a no-nonsense approach to quilting. She has a wealth of knowledge, and I really like her no-nonsense, sort of direct, in-your-face kind of presentations. There's a wealth of information here in her videos, as you can see. She has ones called Quick and Easy Scrap Quilt, Quilter's Math Made Easy. That's the one that I first found that, and I found that very, very good. Use your scraps and stash them more. Map out your own hunter star. Enough with crumb quilts. Products to prevent ruler slippage, finishing your tote bag, how to make a designer tote bag, practice blocks, etc., etc. She has quite a few videos on here that really give you a good sense of what it is that you should know about quilting. This is good for beginners, intermediate, advanced levels. We can always learn something from other people's explanations. And as I said, hers are very, very clear, very much to the point. So if you're looking for something that gets right down to the business of quilting, then you want to check out the Opinionated Quilter. So a future project for my vision board, this one is called, and this is kind of hard to say, it's called Poinsettia Millefleurie by Michael Miller Fabrics. Now, this is a free pattern, but it's a unique technique more than anything else. You essentially take a lot of fabric with repeats, cut it in such a way that you create a whole new look. Kind of hard for me to explain, but well, let me go into it in a little bit more detail here. This week's pattern is one I stumbled upon by accident when I was watching some of Rob Appel's YouTube channel videos. And this one's called the Poinsettia Fiori. Not sure how you say that, but it's really quite stunning. But the more important thing about this pattern is the way that it is created. And I'm just going to go here to the instructions and what it tells you that you need. And all you need for this is 4 1/8 yards of one fabric with a repeated pattern. And that's how you get this structure. So you see here they have a picture of the particular fabric that they use, but you can use any fabric to create this effect. It explains how to cut it. And that's where the real design comes into. It's all has to do with the way it's cut. So you end up, once you've cut it, with a series of hexagons, basically, that you sew together. There aren't any Y seams in this, so don't be afraid of that. And you get this really interesting effect. Um, and it's all done with just 4.5 yards or 4 1/8 yards of the same fabric. So this is something that I have seen this technique used in other ways with panels. It's similar. This one doesn't take a panel. All you have to have is a fabric that has a repeated pattern, and most fabrics have that. Well, all fabrics have that. And there is a video you can watch that goes along with this. Just do a search by the name of this pattern and Rob Appel, and you will find a YouTube video showing you exactly how to put this together. So this one I thought was a very interesting technique, and sometime down the road, I want to give this a try. Now, usually at this point, I will announce a interview that I have all set up, but unfortunately, I do not have an interview for you this week. So that means I'm putting out a call for people or for the names and contact information of people that you think I should interview. As you know, my criterion for interviewing people is one, I do not want big names because everybody knows who they are. Two, I would like to help these people bring more people to their channel, so that's why I'm interviewing them. And yeah, I think that's my criterion. Okay, I was thinking there was a third point there, but maybe there isn't. So if you know of somebody, or even you yourself, I say this all the time, but you're shy people, you all have something to offer. I do have an interview lined up with one of my subscribers, but that doesn't happen until September. So I need some to fill in the gap between then and now. So if you know somebody or you want to be one, please don't be shy. Let me know. Send me an email. My contact information, as always, is in the show notes. But one thing I do have coming up in a week's time or so is I am doing an interview combination store tour at Kawartha Quilting. Now, you've heard me talk about Kawartha Quilting before. It's one of my favorite shops in my area. And Zach, the owner, it's a family-owned business. We have set up a date for me to interview him about his business and at the same time take you along for a tour of his shop. So I'm really looking forward to that. And actually, I bought some new equipment just for this interview. I bought some wireless microphones that I'm hoping are going to work well. In fact, they just arrived late yesterday, so I haven't even taken them out of the box yet. So I'm going to do that later today after I finish this and try them out. And I'm hoping they're going to do what I want them to do. And I'll probably be reviewing them as well on my vlog next week. So that is coming up, but not for another week and a half's time. So where's that taking me now? Well, that's taking me to this week's online quilt store, and it's called Sew You Can. S-E-W, the letter U, and then can. So here's my review of that store. This week's online quilt store is called Sew You Can, and they're located in Tillsonburg, Ontario, which is in the London, Ontario region. And yeah, I've never been to this store, but let's take a look at what they have to offer. So right off the bat, we know that they sell baby lock machines. Now, baby lock machines are not something that are easy to get in our area. So this is one place that does handle all of the baby lock products by the looks of things. But of course, they have lots of other things, as you can see from their front page. So let's go in and check out their fabric. So pull down the menu for this and see how it's organized. We have all the fabric: Candy Corn Quilt Shop, Happy Fall, Solids Basics, Cup of Cheer, Home for Holidays, Bramble Patch, Gossamer Garden, Minky, Busy Street, Halloween, Queen Bee. Okay, those are all ones. Many of them I've never heard of before, like Bramble Patch or Queen Bee. So let's just go to all fabric and see if this is broken down. Same categories. They do have it broken down by price range as well. So let's see, what is the price on fabrics? Maywood Studios, I've heard of that. $7. Well, I'm assuming that's $7 a half meter. Let's take a look. Oh, they have 4 interest-free payments that you can get. I've noticed that on several websites now that they are into this like sort of interest-free payments kind of a deal. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Okay, so I'm still looking to see. Okay, it's priced by the length, 18 inches or half a yard. Okay, so their prices are based on half a yard of fabric. Again, I would rather have seen that since they're a Canadian company in meters, but whatever. So that's for that. But let's go back. And I noticed there was like this queen bee is $10. I'm assuming that that's the same setup. It's probably for half a yard. Yes, it is. So $20 a yard. And the prices seem to vary. Well, not in the queen bee, but they have other fabrics as well. What are their basics? Basics, okay, Kimberbell basics are not a bad price. Remember, this is half a yard, but that's still pretty good. Okay, that's in basics. Let's go to another. I don't know what Busy Street is. I've not heard of that one before. Those are panels. Okay. Home for the Holidays. Well, they're having a sale on some of that, $5. Well, that makes that cheap. So if you're looking for some Christmas fabric, not a lot here to pick from. A couple of panels by the looks of things. Um, let's just go back to all fabric again and see if we can, do they tell us how much they have to pick from? Not really. Okay, let's go for their most expensive price range and see what comes up. Ah, okay, that's just giving us uh, a notion here or a tool kind of a thing, equipment. So it's not just for the fabric, it finds everything on the site for that. So, okay, not the world's best selection of fabrics, I don't think. Prices are okay. What's the shipping like then? Um, just reading this quickly through. Okay. All right, I'm not finding price. Very tiny print to read here. Free shipping on machines is not available. Okay. Um, return policies. If you send something back, is a 10% restocking. Okay, this is not telling me how much their shipping is. All right, I guess we have to do a little experiment. So let's fake it by ordering something. Let's go with some of this queen bee because it was the more expensive kind of fabric. So let's get this and let's buy a couple of yards of that, add it to the cart. And now let's proceed to checkout. Looks like you can pay by PayPal. That's always good. Shipping. Okay. Oh, I've got to put in my no, continue as guest. Okay. Emails required. I want to continue as guest. Won't let me do that. All right. Then I have to put in my shipping address. Okay. Actually, I don't want to put all that information in here right now. and you have to put in shipping address. So I have no idea. I'd have to put that all in, and I'm not prepared to do that right now. So I'm just going to leave it. So edit cart. So I would say they probably ship by Canada Post, and it's probably pretty much the standard shipping price that Canada Post charges. So let's get rid of this. And let's go back. Okay, so they have Kimberbell and Hoop Sisters. And what do they have? Okay. And the prices on Kimberbell is about what you'd expect for Kimberbell. Okay, they seem to have a lot of Kimberbell products. Let's just pick here in the middle of the menu. Okay, so yeah, if you're into Kimberbell, they have lots of it. Now they said there was Hoop Sisters though too. But I'm not seeing any Hoop Sisters. Well, let's go right to the end of their listing. This is still all Kimberbell. So I'm not finding any Hoop Sisters doing it this way. So what if I do a search for Hoop Sisters? Let's see what comes up. Okay, here's Hoop Sisters. Yeah, not much in Hoop Sisters. It's mostly Kimberbell, pretty much all of it. Okay, what else do we have? What do they have under their new category? Some more fabrics, and these are the ones we've just seen as well. So yeah, that's kind of redundant. Stabilizers. Kimberbell. Yep, they're definitely a Kimberbell company. Thread. All thread. Glide. Madeira. Okay, so Madeira seems to be very popular with them as well, which is not bad because Madeira is not one you see a lot of on other websites. Accessories. What do we have in accessories? Okay, feet for sewing machines. So they're really a seller of sewing machines as well. Tables, bags, and gifts. So there's some hardware for bags, baby lock frame, machine bag. Yeah, okay, so if you want some things that are specific to really sewing machines, they have it here. They have used machines classes and monthly projects. Okay, looks like they have Kimberbell classes. Yeah, okay, so my overall impression here is that this store really specializes in Kimberbell products and sewing machines. Yeah, if you're looking for Kimberbell products, if you're looking for sewing machines, you're looking for brother sewing machines in particular, this might be the site for you to check out. For me, not so much. So that's So You Can Sales and Service. So that brings me to the end of this week's episode, but I do want to let you know what's coming up. Well, what's coming up is tomorrow, and the next 2 days after that, I am at a very intensive course, in-person course will teach me everything I need to know and then some about using QuiltPath, the computerized system for my long arm machine. I'm looking forward to this course. I have a feeling I'm going to have a big headache by the time each day is done because I think there's going to be information overload. But that is starting tomorrow. So that runs Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Now on Fridays, Walter and I usually do So Chatty, but it's an all-day course on Friday. By the time I get home, there's not going to be time to do a So Chatty. So I think we won't have a So Chatty this coming week. We'll be back on for next week. And speaking of So Chatty, if you have ideas for So Chatty, if there's something you want us to discuss or look into, please let us know. Just send me an email or drop me a comment in the comment section of this video, and we'll see what we can do. Okay, and the other big event that's coming up is our trip to London, Ontario, to do fabric shopping. So I already discussed on So Chatty a couple of weeks ago my plans for that and the list of stores I want to get to. And I'm hoping to be able to do some recording of each of the stores I go into. Sometimes that's a little awkward if there's customers in there, you know, you don't want to disrupt, you know, business and things like that. But I'll see what I can do, and I'll probably put that together as a special video as well the following week. So anyways, I'm looking forward to just getting away because we have been nowhere, you know, like a lot of people. So it should be lots of fun. So as I said, I'll sort of take you along with me because I intend to do some recording as much as I possibly can of the entire little 2-day excursion. Okay, so that's it for me this week. I hope you have a good week. I hope you're being creative. I know it's probably hard to do sewing if you're having, you know, hot weather right now. Well, why not take your machine outdoors and enjoy it? Enjoy the summer weather, whether it's as hot as Hades or what, because you know, at least for us in Northern Hemisphere and in my area, after this month, it's going to get cool and then colder and then a lot colder. So let's enjoy the heat while we can. So have a great week, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.